Alright, howdy peeps and peoples. What we're doing today is, this is picking up, coming out of the pond, picking up, getting back in the hardwood up from the video from yesterday. This thing started to go better for me, so I wanted to get that on here. We're down here by the ditch, the big blue line stream, which I just found out this job is classified forest, which I did not know. And there was a spot I got down in that ditch, and yeah. So if you're a classified forest inspector, I hope you don't get on me for giving a tire mark in a ditch. But we'll have to deal with that bitch when we get there. So here we are. We're good. That was a big poplar. Cutting that bottom. Now here it's the same as the last video. What we're doing is, Stevie's coming through. There's 2 skidders on him, which Stevie calls it 5 skidders on me. Tiger catting him. He's tiger catting Stevie too much. So what we decided to do is come down here, and I took this and pulled Junkie off of Stevie, and it was a odd spot out on its own. So we're throwing the wood down, and I'm slop topping them with a buncher, because it's not got a lot of the undergrowth and stuff is not, it's just regen type of situation. So it really ain't, there's nothing in the understory except junk for the most part, with occasional red oak here and there. So guys got to watch out for that. And there's a few cherry. There was a few cherry in there. And here's the tree, one of the trees I lost in the last video. And here I'm going to brush up and go ahead, Junkie. We got her, buddy. And so I'm letting him pull through past the head and the front tire, so that way it can help delimit. Because this is a sloppy style topping. And that's Virginia pine. And limbs on Virginia pine just is not friendly. Like white pine limbs is just, they're cake. You can sneeze and they come off. But white pine's pretty much a junk tree, and this has got some value to it. The Virginia pine does. I don't know what the value would be. We use it for crating. All it is crating value, and then some of the crating won't let us use softwood. Most of it because of white pine. And, when you say pine, and you know, you put white pine in there with it, it just kind of pulls a normal pine down. That pine's good pine, that'd make good pallets. But you throw white pine in, you know, pallet companies get white pine, and then their pallets look like, you know, it tears them up. So whatever. But I'm getting down in here. I get in some poplar. I cut a big pop. Oh, and make sure everybody's looking up in the my TV monitor up there shows up into the canopy. So every once in a while I get a good one where you can see the tree up the canopy and stuff. So be watching up there, and you can see a lot about what I'm going through on these select cuts. I use that monitor all the time. It's actually dirty. I need to clean it off. There's things that we did today when I'm editing this video. We're actually between jobs, and there's maintenance that needs done. I actually had a tire coming off on the front from packing these trees around. I got a weakness on my lug nuts up there on my axle, and I actually got tires come loose once in a while. And if you don't catch them, they'll break all the lug nuts off, and you'll end up with your axle on the ground, sitting there on 3 wheels like a tricycle. But yep, drive tricycle, you're driving in circles, boy. Know that? Yep. But Stevie drives a tricycle. Stevie's 3-wheeler's a tricycle. But I need to clean off that camera, touch up a few bunch of teeth. Here I am stacking some trees. So basically, when you're doing this, when you're cutting like this and just slop topping them instead of getting a dent down there, first off, it's got to be the right spot. If it's in the wrong spot, you'll end up beating up too much wood. But this is in the right spot. And oh, excuse me, it's about bedtime. So this is the right spot. So what I'll do is I come down an area, pick my priorities, the big spot where the most wood is. And I start there after I get a little plan made, and I make a hole there. And the key to this is to keep a skidder on you, and also once a skidder stays with you and keeps your chute clean. And then I also jump around. I'll go to the less. I don't stay in one spot. I feel the chute up, and I go off to the side, work on the side while the skidder's cleaning the chute out, and keep my eyes in the back of my head, so that way if I got a top one for him or something when he pulls it up a little bit, then I can do that. But it works okay. It don't work in steep laying ground. It's got to be ground shallow enough that you can get to it. But now that buncher goes pretty good with them chains and stuff. I can get on steeper ground what a guy thinks with that thing. But the way we use it is designed to be a two-man operation. One man feeds trees up towards the road to the den and the den, so that way you're buzzing around and doing all your wandering around with your rubber tire machine and throwing the activity towards the track machine, which stays up on the road, perched up and sorting and cleaning and situating so everything's in the road. And this is not bad trees, but they're heavy to pine. Grabbing another pine, but you can see other trees that got laid out there. Junkyard's cleaning a chute out down through there while I'm working on this here, and the spot I'm working on right here, in a nutshell, there's nothing to we can do all the rest of the stuff before Junkyard ever fools getting that. And Stevie's going down to Mudfest, the big old Mudfest, so anybody going to Mudfest, look for Stevie, he'll be there. And I'm going to be cutting by myself the next 2 days, so I'm going to be slop topping for the next 2 days. And the patch we're in is an easier laying ground, and it's not got freakishly large timber. It's got timber a little bit bigger than what I'm cutting here on it, but not much, with a few big boys. But it lays about right to where I can root a lot of them uphill in the awkward spots. There is one awkward spot on that job. I could root some of them uphill and slop top them with a buncher, and we're going to be cleaning up the trees with the Super Kitty back in the yard. So if any of the sawmill guys are watching, I apologize in advance. We're going to try to get them clean best we could, but I'm a den man short for a couple days. And I told Stevie the only way he could go, which has been talking about Mudfest since last Mudfest, and the only way he could go is if he feels bad about going. If he gets to where he don't care and he don't feel bad about going, then he might as well stay here. But if I can send him on a guilt trip, so it makes me feel better knowing that he feels guilty for going, then it's fine that he goes. And this here's a soft maple. There's a lot of soft maple pine. That type of stuff is a wet type of, and I never checked see if it's silver maple, but I'm sure it is. See there, that was good placement. Now keep an eye on that hole, because I end up putting, I think 3 trees in that hole before it's over with, and do a pretty good job making a drag there. But I'm just cruising around. I take a lot of times I'll move little trees around and get them set up ahead of time. Maybe cut to one side or 2 punches in a big tree while I'm doing it, and then get the little trees down, get them topped, get them cleaned up when I ain't cutting for the den, and then splat. I'll put the big tree on top of them, top it, and get out of there. It slows you down, topping with the buncher, and you got to be extra careful. You got to make a plan where you're going to top them pretty much before you drop them and let them go. Because you can't put a tree where you can't top it, or else you'll have to shut down, get out of the saw, top of the saw, and of course, people that cuts with the saw, are like, well, get out. And they're like, get out, go ahead and get out and do it. But when you shut the machine down, I tell you what, when you get used to mechanical logging, it's hard to And it ain't just the lazy factor. It's there's a threshold. There's a bar every time the bar gets raised when you're doing something, and you just don't want to resort back to going slow again. You know, and you can fall in love. Oh, excuse me. And you fall in love with the hydraulic power to get the trees to do what you want. You know, it's just hard to beat the hydraulic power. Where when you're doing it with a saw, all you got's fibers. You got however strong the fibers is on that tree, how much you can get out of that tree. And when you, like right now, look where this tree's going. Just watch it. It's just going and going and going. You know, and now throw it over the shoulder. Pow, sitting right there at the other one. Shoot. But I mean, it's like, you know, when you're cutting with a saw, it's like, you know, you got to look for deadfalls and stuff, and something falls, you got to wait for it to relax a second before you just jump right out there and start topping and stuff. And the buncher is stuff you don't even think of. All of a sudden, every once in a while, whop, something will hit you in the cab, and you're like, what the hey, what was that? You know, but hand cutting is like, that's all you're doing is just waiting for what is that. You just don't want to get one of them what is that, so what happened, you know, because that could be the one that gets you. But I'll shut up about it. I'm almost done here, and thanks everybody for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed, and watch this big popper hit the sack. This was cool. This popper did lay good. It's a 4-puncher. You know, it don't look that big, but it's a big boy. It's a 4-puncher. It took 4 directions. Later, guys.